Hey everybody, it's Dave Rivas with the Roustabouts Theatre Company, and on Monday, August 19th at 7 p.m. at Moxie Theater, the Roustabouts will be performing a brand new play by Matthew Thompson called Hoods, directed by Phil Johnson. And today we have one of the actors with us, Veronica Burgess. Veronica, how are you?
Hey, what's up, Dave? I'm great. Good to see you, man. Thanks for having me.
It's so good to see you too, and we want the audience to get to know a little bit about you. So, and you've got some history. You've got some chops. So
I do. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about that. How'd you get all started, and what do you do?
Well, theater in general, I've been at it for over 20 years. Graduate from San Diego State, and you do what you can when you get going. And now I'm really proud to say that I've built a community for myself. And I actually got to work with the Roustabouts Theater last year for the first time during another original piece called Guntopia, which was an amazing experience. So I'm really happy to be back with them.
Guntopia was amazing. Oh my.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah. And I thought, like, what? They are having such a blast on stage with this subject matter and just the quirkiness of the show and all that. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I loved working on it. And the directors, and Phil wasn't directing, but being part of the production.
Yeah.
He did an amazing job, as everybody did. But just getting to know him and know the company was just a really great experience too.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And so now this show, Hoods, this is a completely different setting. And tell us about your character. Tell us who you play and tell us a little bit about your character.
I play Auntie, which is I'd say the lead character, the protagonist, Auntie. And she's a person that kind of by default is taking care of the main character. She used to work with this person's mother, and the mother passed away. So she's kind of taken on the role of caretaker for the character T. And she's just that, I love that they kept the character name is just Auntie, because she's that all-encompassing, like, loving maternal role, but it's not your mom, but kind of your friend. You know, that aunties are special. If I don't know, you're probably not an auntie. But it's a very special role in that way that you really, you take on all the responsibility to be this caretaker, but at the same time, you have like this friendliness of like the cheerleader and the positivity, the person that's really like in your corner.
Yeah, that's great. Now, do you think that others will identify with the auntie character? Like, I know an auntie. I have an auntie in my life.
Oh, absolutely. For this specific role, it describes her as she identifies as Hispanic, as Latina, which I am Mexican. So I definitely have these kind of characters in my life, but she really carries so much love and support and positivity that I think anybody in the audience can identify and relate to that person that you have in your life.
That's great. And how about you? Do you relate to Auntie? Are you bringing anything personal to this role?
I think maybe that kind of nurturing aspect. I work sometimes with, though I'm well preserved on the outside, I work with some very young and sometimes that remind me of like, oh, let me tell you how we used to do it. Or I have those moments of like, let me support you and let me build you up. But I'm also going to school you in the way that I think is right, in that kind of roundabout way. So I feel that's that little essence that I'm bringing, because some of these younger kids tend to be like, Veronica, what do you think I should do about this? And so I like taking on that role. Makes me feel wise.
That's awesome. That's the teacher in you, the teaching artist in you, and you're playing it out on stage as well.
Yeah, exactly. That nurturing role is there.
That's so great. So what about the audiences? What do you think how are they going to feel when they come and see this show, about the themes and your character and other characters as well?
Well, never easy to predict how some people are going to take certain information, but what I hope is that for San Diego audience, it's going to really strike up some conversation, maybe elicit some feelings, because the theme of homelessness is very much prevalent in San Diego County. And it's something that we've dealt with. You know, if you live in San Diego, you know that it's kind of always been there. And this really shines a light on a personal side of it, of where I hope that the audience will feel some empathy and also some curiosity to maybe find some questions in themselves of, how can I help? What can I do? What's out there? So I just hope that audiences, and for whatever reason, there may be audience members that relate to this topic. And I think that's what the message is, that you really never know someone's story. You really never know what someone has been through or where they're coming from.
Yeah, that's actually a beautiful thing. So you think audiences might come away from this performance maybe looking differently at people on the street or the homeless community?
I hope so. I feel that empathy and kindness is something that the world needs a little bit more of at any time in our history, but more so than ever. So that's something that we can all be so quick to judge something that we just see without knowing what's behind it. So I hope that can shine some light on that.
Absolutely. And you mentioned something about not knowing the other person's story. That is so true. So with that being said, in this show, without giving away too much, is there anything going on that you think the audience might be surprised to find out, or the way that lifestyle is, or anything like that?
Gosh, and I don't want to give away too much, but I definitely think that the audiences will be surprised in the sense that this comes from very true events, from very true scenarios. I'll just speak of my own character. The environment that this play is building is also, I think, an environment that a lot of people are unaware of, because when you think of homelessness, you think of just the people that you see on the streets. Here in San Diego, you have a lot of kind of like tent cities kind of thing, a tent row, so to speak. Yeah. But this one really focuses on the other alternatives that some people have, because I know you have shelters and other establishments that help people without homes, but this one in particular is really focusing on the people that are taking matters into their own hands because they still have a life to live. And almost in a way like, not having a house is the last thing I'm worried about. Because some of these characters, mine in particular, is working multiple jobs and in different kind of capacities, some in restaurants, some cleaning. But at the end of the day, she goes and sleeps in a van and has to, clean up in something that's like a public kind of setting. But when you look at Auntie working out there in the field, you would never know.
You never know. And that's something so important to always keep in mind about the other. You never know what their story is. I really honestly can't wait to see this show. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope the audiences come to see it and they take away something like that empathy and all those things. Now, aside from the theater and aside from all the great things that you do, I know you do a few things. So tell us about some of those things other than just acting that you like to do.
Gosh, I involve myself so much in different types of theater and acting that I feel like everything I do is so different that I get a chance to do many things that I love. Because acting in a play, I'm about to start a production, right after Hoods is done. And that kind of long storytelling is so satisfying in one way, but later on in the month, I get to be in an improv show, and that's creating stories on the spot and exercising a different muscle. And that to me is play. So it's work, but at the same time, it's just me kind of basically the way I tell my students, I'm like, I get to play pretend as an adult.
Improv is such a unique skill that I think it's kind of underappreciated, and not too many people know what is really involved in the process. And it makes you a better actor, right?
I think so. I think it elicits a lot of like in the moment feelings, like just kind of helping you definitely, in auditioning and cold reads. I think improv has been so beneficial to me because you don't have time to overthink things. You have to kind of trust your gut, really listen, and just go and make a decision and just be okay with it, which I know just in general, life can be hard enough that like, I don't know if that was the right thing, but at least in improv, you don't have a chance to debate it.
Now, Can you tell me anything about stand-up comedy maybe?
Oh, sure. I kind of sprinkled throughout my time. I get to do different stand-up shows throughout the county, sometimes comedy clubs, sometimes bars. And that's a muscle I love to exercise because who doesn't like, to get things off their chest? And it's cheaper than therapy. So it's a good way to just kind of really talk to the world and see if anybody else thinks like you think.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Veronica. And everybody out there, go see Veronica Burgess in Hoods this Monday, August 19th at 7 p.m. at Moxie Theater. This new play is written by Matthew Thompson, directed by Phil Johnson. And for tickets, you can go to theroustabouts.org. See ya.
Thank you.